What's up guys? Spider-Man 2 has been described as many things. Best technical showcase on the PS5. Thrilling, boring, rushed, woke, robbed. Is Spider-Man 2 a good game? And is it even good after the hype? Was it too ambitious? Was it long enough? Was it rushed? Or was everyone annoyed that this game didn't reach the unrealistic expectation? I'll be doing my review on whether this game is impeccable or straight up trash. Spoiler alert. It's neither. Let's do this. This game is definitely different to the other ones we've had. The tone is darker, with more exaggerated movements and situations, and the action set pieces are so much bigger. But anyway, let's start with the graphics of this game. Alright, I gotta begin with how they rebuilt everything in this game. From the buildings, to the textures, to the animations, the suits, and the lighting. And they did all that and added in Brooklyn and Queens as well. Not only that, but adding in so many different times of day. Originally in other games it was just day, sunset, and night with other few weather changes. Now we can have one in between sunset and night where the sun is mainly down, but it's still light out. They've put a lot of work into the weather and the sun of this sun. They put a lot of effort into the weather and just the time of day in this game. It's insane. And there's so many different times of day which I didn't even realize in my second playthrough of the game. There's still probably so many out there which I've not even noticed because it's subtle, but a massive improvement to what the other games had, where they only had 3 different times of day. Now this game's art style is different to what we're normally used to in the Spider-Man world. The suits are shinier, including the PS4 suit, which originally was how it looked in the E3 game trailer before the first game came out. For the new advanced suit, the eyes have a gradient on the inside of the lenses. The suit is more vibrant in colour, not with the orangey red thing from the PS4 game. And the head shape is rounder. Not gonna lie, as much as it looks more Spider-Man like, I think I do prefer the PS4 shape head because it just looks more distinct and more realistic in my mind. But that's only a small gripe and I'm not annoyed by it whatsoever. For Miles, his suit has been upgraded to a darker black, which makes the older suit look way more grey than I remember. The red webbing and streaks on the suit really contrast and make the colours just pop in this suit. I love it. And the belt is now triangular instead of rectangular, which in my opinion does make the suit look a lot more slicker. Other than a few pattern details throughout the suit actually hasn't changed that much. Apart from this, which in my opinion is overhated, but it is not a great suit. The colours are just kind of mashed together, the mask has no webbing, and the lenses are flipped. I'm very particular when it comes to the lenses of Spider-Man suits, and I hate that they flipped these lenses. I don't care if Insomniac are trying to make this the main Miles Morales Spider-Man suit. I don't want it. The suit would have been fine if it was just another random suit in the game, but the fact that Insomniac tried to make it the main line suit for the games, I hate that. I don't think that's the right decision since it's an Adidas promotion. Why would you want a main line Spider-Man suit in fact to be an Adidas promotion? But anyway, we ignore that suit. We don't care about that suit. As for the environment in this game, everything's a lot less grainy. The roads stood out to me as they look cleaner and more smooth along with the buildings in this game. However, the textures in this game are actually a massive improvement from the past games. From the detail of the bricks and the content of the roads, this game, compared to real life New York City, captures the realism better than the previous games, as the other games made everything look a lot dirtier. I could argue that because it's a world for the superheroes that the city should be looking worn out or trashed more than real life, but that's what damage control is for. So I digress. But this game's graphics have improved, from the suits to the textures to the lighting to the water to the damage done in your surrounding area. For majority of people who don't like this said graphics, don't actually like the game's art style. Because this game's art style is definitely brighter and more cleaner than what the previous games were. And I mean, I can't blame them from disliking it. Everyone has their preference. They want a more grounded Spider-Man city, with the city actually looking like it's been through some stuff. Me personally, I don't mind the look, but I do have one nitpick, and that's the NPCs in this game. I do think the NPCs in this game look a bit plastic to me, and I don't mean all the citizens in this game. I mean mainly the thugs in this game. For some reason, the sleeveless thugs in this game look a bit plastic to me. If Insomniac could just add some hair textures onto their arm or something, you know, making them look a bit more, you know, then it would look fine. But something about the NPCs in this game just look plastic to me, and I don't know why. Apart from the hunters and their clothing look amazing, especially the ones with the hoods. They look amazing. The lighting and the city in this game just look gorgeous. There's no better feeling than you swinging around really fast, getting propelled upwards, and just seeing the whole city from high up. It's gorgeous. With my thoughts on the graphics being said and done, now let's move on to the gameplay. I can't tell you the amount of times I've only gone on for a little bit and ended up staying on there for hours, and it keeps you hooked in just a free roam. Although it can get repetitive in the free roam. I'll get back to that. This game, it takes everything we've had in the past games and builds upon it. The web swinging is faster and more fluid, with more air tricks and animations. The web wings in this game build on the traversal by giving you so many more opportunities to do something cool when integrating it with the web swinging. And the removal of swing assist is probably one of the best decisions they've made, along with fall damage in this game. Now you can swing around with an actual risk instead of just the risk being losing your flow. I do wish there were new animations for when you're wearing the black suit, because I can't imagine an angry Spider-Man doing flips and stuff when he's annoyed. However, I do wish we could run along the ground when web swinging, but you can get pretty close to the ground with your legs and your arms when web swinging. I do wish you could climb up the web like they do in Ultimate Spider-Man, or Andrew Garfield did in Amazing Spider-Man 2, just so if you swing too late you can still catch yourself instead of hitting the ground and dying, because I've done that quite a few times. But hey, let's hope they add that into the third game. Insomniac, please add that to the third game. Please add that to the third game. Please, to the third game. Insomniac. Now the combat in this game is not really different to what we've already seen. They're still using the Arkham style fighting. It's still fun and definitely harder than it was before. The parry ability is good, even though I don't see why Spider-Man would parry an attack. I see him more of a agile dodge kind of person, but it adds to the gameplay, so I love it. Most of the enemies are actually faster, bigger and stronger than they were before, so I've actually died quite a few times, which never happened in the past games. I could go through and play the game like 100 times and not die. As I was replaying, I died so many times in the boss fights. From the lizard boss fight onwards, I kept dying, and I don't know why. To be fair though, it's an improvement from the first game because I actually wanted some challenge. Anyway, because the difficulty had been increased, Insomniac had added the new spider arms, symbiote, and new venom abilities for Peter and Miles. I like to use them, but sometimes the spider arms are a bit overpowered, making the crimes way too easy by defeating them in one tap. Wiping out a whole crime scene in one tap is definitely underwhelming in this game. So I just didn't upgrade it all the way, just so I can actually have some effort when I fight crime. And I know people have thought, oh, you shouldn't have to adapt to Insomniac just because they made a mistake and made it too easy. You can adapt to a game however you want. People have done a Spider-Man glitch in the first game, making you go very fast. Why can't I make the crimes harder for myself? Tell me why I can't do that. But yeah, anyway, it keeps the combat pretty refreshing and is definitely enjoyable and very cinematic to use, so I like them. Okay, let's look away from the combat and look at the activities to do around the map. There are quite a few side missions on the map, most of them being, not gonna lie, not very good, but there's just not a lot compared to what the first game had. And you can't replay any of these side missions unless you start a whole new game from scratch, which I know will be coming January, February time in 2024, but it's just kind of annoying because I wanted to play New Game Plus and replay the missions on my own save before doing this review, but I had to start a whole new scratch, so it kind of made my plan be very delayed. So I'm now filming this on New Year's Eve, so I think they should add a few more side missions, or at least make a few more main story side missions, like in the first game how you had a whole side missions thing leading up to Tombstone. I forgot his name is Tombstone. In this game you've only got like one of them, which is the flame. Other than that, you haven't got any main story side missions. You've only got collectibles which then lead to a cutscene. There's not really anything other than that. Like in the first game where you had Taskmaster's tasks to do, that's a whole side mission within itself. You have boss fights. That's a whole side mission to do. So I do think they lack in the activity department when it comes to this game. which is sad. But the crimes in this game do pop up all the time, very quickly. So the crimes pop up really quickly, which also makes this game really addictive and just doesn't really make you want to stop. It keeps me playing, but it gets repetitive, especially when there's crimes which weren't in the first game. I like the robbery crime, and I like the car crime where you could move around the car, and at the end you have a quick time event for you to do. In this game, there's none of that. There's no robbery crime, and the car crime, you've only got to click one button and it does it for you. There is no QuickTime event in that crime anymore. Talking about QuickTime events, this game has no QuickTime event which you can fail, I'm pretty sure. All of the QuickTime events can just last forever, or it does it for you. There's no way to fail in these QuickTime events. Unlike the first game, where you failed if you didn't catch the guy falling down the elevator, or you didn't catch the crane falling down from the sky, or you didn't catch the propeller falling down. A lot of stuff fell down in that game. So yes, at times this game does feel like you're just playing an interactive movie, which you can't fail, and there isn't much side story content as I would have hoped for in this game, but I do enjoy the ones we got, even though some of them can get a bit repetitive. Apart from that though, the gameplay I say is pretty addictive and pretty tough. It feels rewarding when you win, but there's still some faults in this game which I hope to be sorted out in the next update with New Game Plus, weather change and this time of day change. So let's fingers crossed everything gets fixed in updates. Now in general, the gameplay is really good, nothing too different to what we've seen before. Anyway, now what I think about Spider-Man 2's story. The story feels a bit more fast paced, taking a span of like only a few days while the previous game took over a couple weeks. I'm not saying that this story is bad just because it only takes place over a couple days. I'm just saying that this game feels a bit more point to point when it comes to storytelling. Each mission is decently long and still holds up after I've replayed it. So the faster pace is not a bad thing, but I do wish they added more missions for Black Suit Spider-Man, or let him have more face-to-face interactions as Peter when wearing the black suit, because we only got like one scene of this, and I really wanted to see how him being affected by the black symbiote would affect the people close to him.
I'm the hero here, not you.
The story is darker and has a rushed feel to it since there's a countdown to Kraven killing all the villains. I actually think the story is pretty good. Nothing bad enough to be called terrible, but nothing great enough to be called a masterpiece. However, I do wish it was a bit longer just so they could flesh out some stuff before the game ended. And many people agree it should have been longer. Many people. But calling it a short game is just wrong, because technically it is the same length of how the first game was like. Like me, he's got hundreds of hours on the Spider-Man games. This sequel took me a good few days to try and complete. And I sped ran the first game in only a few hours, so people are definitely feeling greedy in this game when it comes to the length of it. But I do agree with them, that it should be a bit longer. Just for me, story purposes, and I wanted to see some stuff in gameplay. Other than that, it's alright. The relationships in this game feel a lot more heartwarming and loving, on Peter's side anyway. On Miles, that kind of lacks since you don't see enough of the others to actually gain a connection with them. The story is heartwarming, it's exciting, it's sad, although there are some parts which Miles feels a bit sidelined, which does make sense, it is Peter's game, but throughout I could go ages without seeing Miles. And his story, apart from Martin Lee, is pretty forgettable in my opinion. There's not really much there which stands out. It also works on the other end where I feel like Peter's knocked down too much to put Miles Morales in the spotlight, and I feel like they could have done a workaround to not having Peter knocked down every time Miles Morales is the center of attention. And to be honest, at the end of the game, I'm not the best supporter for the decision that they made. It just made me feel like it happened way too soon, and that in some way it did feel rushed. However, on the second playthrough, I still like the story, and the story still held up in my opinion. But to go in depth as the story, it has Peter and Miles struggle to balance a double life with villains being hunted by Kraven, and trying to deal with personal issues like Miles' college essay and Peter struggling to keep a steady income and pay his bills. This all gets much more stressful when Peter gets the black suit and starts acting out of character. Done amazingly by Yuri and his voice acting, by the way. The symbiote feeds off of Spider-Man's guilt, loss and stress, and makes him violent when chasing the lizard, fighting Kraven, and, spoiler alert, even when asleep. As Miles attempts to take revenge on Martin Lee by hunting him down after Kraven has taken him, he is ignoring his personal life, his work, and committing full time to Spider-Man work. Both Spider-Men have an eternal battle that they battle throughout this entire game. And I enjoy it. I enjoy watching people suffer, you know? It isn't perfect by any means, but it does get the point across. in its own way. That makes it sound like I'm defending a bad story, but they just executed the story beats in pretty simple ways. They were overly ambitious with the setup and attempted to match that ambitiousness given, and to achieve it in an unsatisfying way for most people. As it does have what majority of people wanted for the conclusion of the game, they lack. They either do the wrong thing with the right person, right thing with the wrong person, or the wrong thing which could have been equally replaced by something equally as ambitious and would have fit in line better with the story, gameplay and set pieces given. They definitely gave the wrong starting set piece for the final battle. As much as it's symbolic, it's playing it safe and isn't as ambitious or fun as it could have been gameplay wise. Story is great, not award winning because it definitely has its faults. I don't think it deserves that much hate. Criticism, yes. Hate, no. So in my opinion, I'm giving Spider-Man 2 a 3.5 stars out of 5. Thanks for sticking around and listening to my Spider-Man 2 review. Comment down any other games or movies you want me to review or keep up to date with. But other than that, hit subscribe to stay updated with the news, rumors and reviews.